Hello, good morning. I'm Manya Sabhani, and this is my Stories in the Dark extract analysis. I have picked extract 3, and the question I will be answering is: how does storytelling impact the characters of Anna and Thomas? Think about the dramatic elements that are used. Stories in the Dark by Deborah Oswald is a story based around two characters and their life in a war-torn city. Every night, Anna tells Thomas a story that distracts him from the noise outside and helps him sleep. The storytelling not only serves as dramatic situation through magical realism, which is a literary technique that was employed by Oswald throughout the book, but also gives the audience a peek into how the characters are feeling. The author is constantly alternating between the magical realism of the storytelling and the reality of the war, causing the fairy tale stories to draw a stark contrast against the gloomy outside. Overall, the storytelling makes a really big and noticeable positive impact on the characters of Anna and Thomas, and the audience's perception of the two, by providing the characters with an escape, and providing the audience with a light-hearted moment in between of the war's heartbreaking reality. This also provides the audience with a chance to see how desperate Anna and Thomas are to escape through the use of elements such as character, mood and atmosphere, audience, voice, and movement, which I will be discussing in this presentation. The first element used in the extract is dramatic tension through non-humorous dramatic irony. Dramatic irony is when the audience knows something that one or more of the characters don't. In this case, the fact that Anna knows her mom is dead. Through dramatic irony, the audience gets a light-hearted story, but in this case, it makes the scene more tense and somber because it leads to the dramatic tension occurring between the two characters. Of course, Anna is really agitated since she has just lost the little hope she had been clinging on to throughout the book. But Thomas is unaware of this predicament and therefore ends up unintentionally annoying her when he accidentally leaves the lights running all night. We see her annoyance when she yells at Thomas for doing so. This changes the way that the audience perceives both the characters. In the scene leading up to this one, their relationship had been improving and they seemed to be getting really comfortable together. But in this scene, it seemed like they were back to square one due to the dramatic tension caused by Anna's violent mood. Anna's voice, through the beginning of the extract, really helps us, as the audience, understand her frame of mind. In the beginning of the extract, she's really unsure of what to say to Thomas, whether to explain or apologize for her mood. And we see this when she pauses for a second while saying, "Don't ask me so many, just shut up." Towards the middle of the extract, we find out that Anna is deeply, very heartbroken. She was concealing it with anger that she was releasing on Thomas. We find this out through the tone of the line, "We hear Anna sniff back tears." It tells us the character's mood through her voice and her breathing. She also pauses in the middle when she asks Thomas to read her a story. This tells us a bit about her character. She's not very comfortable with being vulnerable to Thomas. When he hesitates before reading, Anna growls, and this tells us a bit more about the impact that storytelling has on her. She is so desperate to escape her thoughts and to distract herself that she is not happy with any delays. This shows the audience how broken she is deep down, as compared to her stoic and introverted demeanor towards the beginning of the book, and changes the audience's perception of Anna from mean or impolite to guarded and not trusting. Towards the beginning of the extract, we can see movement used as a way to show what the characters are feeling. Through the lines, "He shields his eyes, afraid of her violent mood," Thomas doesn't move, and Thomas hunches up. We can tell that he is physically closing into himself and is clearly taken aback by Anna's violent mood and the words she uses to refer to him: brain-dead little worm and stinking carcass. But Thomas's mood towards the beginning of the extract is really different to what we see at the end of the extract. In the lines, Thomas picks up the torch and runs the torch beam along the jagged edges of the building, as if tracing the she-wolf's journey. We can see that he is physically more confident now, as compared to how worried and scared he was of Anna towards the beginning. This also shows the impact of storytelling on Thomas. It made him feel a bit more safe and calm. Mood and atmosphere is another very important element that we can see a very drastic change in when comparing the beginning of the extract to the end. Towards the beginning of the extract, the mood is really tense and unpredictable, with Anna feeling so violent, which we can see in the line, afraid of Anna's violent mood. But towards the end, it gets a bit more calm or normal, because they have returned to their usual routine of telling stories and calming one another down. We see that not only from Thomas's movement towards the end, but also through the interaction that occurs between Anna and Thomas between the story. To conclude, the author, Deborah Oswald, has made impeccable use of magical realism through storytelling, which we see all throughout the book. This storytelling has a huge and noticeable impact on the characters of Anna and Thomas. It helps them calm down and feel a bit more safe, serving as an escape for both the characters from the stress of both their lives. Anna's being to escape the country, and Thomas's being to reunite with his family. It also changes the way the audience perceives the two characters. For example, in the beginning of the extract, they might have viewed Thomas as very childish or naive, but by the end he seems to come across as caring and responsible, since he is putting so much effort into making Anna feel a bit better about the heartbreaking news she received in the last scene. As for Anna, she comes across as very cross and grumpy towards the beginning, but by the end of the extract, the audience realizes she's just very gutted in the aftermath of receiving the news. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it.